Hi guys, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are watching from. Um, Today, I want us to sincerely look at the current debate over the saga between Very Dark Man and Jeremiah Omoto Fufoyin of Christ Mercy Land Deliverance Ministry over the so-called faith-based materials, because I want us to look at it sincerely. I'm underlining the word sincerely, putting all sentiments apart, or aside, because this is an issue that have divided Nigeria as a country into two major camps. Those who believe that Nafdac should not be involved in faith-based materials, and those who believe that Nafdac has the authority to regulate whatever is consumed. To start this discussion, I want us to look at the agency called Nafdac. If I will call the name in full, that is the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control. That is the full meaning of Nafdac. And Nafdac was established by the Decree number 15 of 1993 as amended by Decree number 19 of 1999. And now it is called by that name under the Act Cap N1 law of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004. Underline that again, Act Food and Drug Administration and Control Act, Cap N1, Laws of Federal or Federation of Nigeria, 2004. So what does this entail? This entails that this law covers all territories that are within the geographic enclave called Nigeria. So anywhere you are that is within Nigeria, this act applies to you or to your organization. In this act, let me put emphasis on that. There is no discrimination or there is no distinction between faith-based material and others. The act regulates anything food. And I don't want to go too technical in this discussion, because if I have to go more technical, then we have to try to define what food means. But I will only emphasize that the summary of the things that are regulated by this act is anything that can be consumed by citizens of Nigeria within the territory called Nigeria. And that can be summarized through going through the mandate as defined by this act that established Nafdac. Okay? The act mandates the agency to regulate and control the manufactures, importation, exportation, distribution, advertisement, sale and use of food, drugs, cosmetics, medical devices, packaged water, chemical, and detergents, collectively known as regulated product. Okay? This is a summary of all the areas that Nafdac is mandated to cover. Now, What are we talking about? I have pinpointed two things here. One, Nafdac operates under the territory of Nigeria. That is one. Secondly, Nafdac regulates food and drug in Nigeria. Thirdly, there is no distinction of the type of food and drug that Nafdac should be regulating, either based on faith or otherwise. So in that scenario, anybody that is making an argument that Nafdac should not involve in regulating faith-based material, I don't think the person has consulted this act that established Nafdac, because when issues like this are being discussed, we should be talking about the legality or otherwise of our discussion. It is, however, unfortunate that Nafdac over the years have allowed these things to be happening without any action. But that these things have happened over the years does not make it right. That is one thing we have to understand. That is, it has happened over the years without Nafdac acting does not make it right. This is a slap on the establishments or the authority of Nafdac, because they should not wait until a blogger called the Very Dark Man start making noise about this thing based on the noise that started from Jeremiah Omoto-Fufoyin, who is the overseer of Christ Mercy Land Deliverance Ministry. Because it is Jeremiah that brought in Nafdac into this matter by coming on the social media to tell the world that his products have been approved by Nafdac. So that itself is a crime, because from what is going on now, it is clear that none of the products as advertised on the church website has been authorized or regulated by Nafdac as approved, based on the powers that the act have given to Nafdac. So anybody who is presenting an argument, like I was watching a television presentation this evening, where I don't know the background of the guy that was presenting that argument, that if the consumables or items are sold within the church premises only, that Nafdac will not be involved, or Nafdac will not have the powers to regulate it. So I will say that is a wrong argument. Because why is it wrong? By the act establishing Nafdac, the act covers the geographic territory called Nigeria. If that church is within Nigeria, or any organization where any item that is listed in the act is being distributed to the public is within Nigeria, then Nafdac has the power to regulate it. Unless we want to create a country within Nigeria. So we want to carve out churches or any worshiping ground within Nigeria as not being affected by this act. It's only based on that we will now say that Nafdac will have no control over what is being distributed to the public. Okay? The duty of Nafdac, as I emphasize, as stated by the Act establishing it, did not state in any way that faith-based materials are excluded. So one, the territory we are talking about is Nigeria, as stated in that Act. Secondly, the materials that are being regulated, there is no distinction between the one that is distributed in as a faith-based material and the one that is presented as a general goods, or whatever name you want to give it. Provided this material is as listed: food, drug, cosmetics, medical devices, packaged water, chemical, and detergents. Once the goods is covered by, under any of these category, then Nafdac has the authority to regulate it. So, what are we saying? When issues like that are being debated or being discussed, if the churches understand what a law is, what they should have done is not to go to court or to challenge somebody that is telling them that these materials are fake, or that this material was not approved by Nafdac. Then they will march to Nafdac office to go and demonstrate. This is not a problem that can be solved through demonstration. This is a problem that can be solved through the interpretation of the Act establishing Nafdac. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm an educated person, so I understand what law and order means. If there is a dispute over any act, the best place to address it is the law court. It can start from a high court to until up to Supreme Court of Nigeria, where this law will be interpreted, and whatever interpretation that is given by the courts stands. So the pastors marching to Nafdac office to demonstrate is a sign of their ignorance. Because if Nafdac say, okay, we are not going to implement or deliver what the mandate that has been given to us, that will be a failure on Nafdac. Like I was telling somebody when we were discussing this thing, that Nafdac can be sued. Anybody that bought that thing and discovered that that product have not been approved by Nafdac, and Nafdac is keeping quiet over its distribution and sale, Nafdac can be sued, and they will pay damages to whoever is suing them, because it's negligence on their side. So as it stands now, the very dark man has the advantage of suing Jeremiah Omoto Fofeyin and Nafdac as co-defendants in this case, unless if Nafdac will stand on its authority to do the needful. But if Nafdac will continue business as usual, then the next point of action, if I will have to advise a very dark man, is to sue Jeremiah and Nafdac as co-defendants in that case, and claim damages, because it means that Nafdac has failed in the deliverance of his duty in protecting the health and well-being of Nigerians. That is the meaning. And to make sure that they do this thing right, then you have to go to court and sue them. By the time the court rule against them, then they will know the right thing to do. The problem in Nigeria is that when things like this are discussed, people allow sentiments to deceive them. This is not issue of sentiment. Assuming there is no law that is established, there is no written down law guiding this thing we are discussing, then that is where arguments will prevail. It will now be whoever presents a more noisy argument or whatever means of argument, maybe by popular opinion, then that person will carry the day. But this is not issue of popular opinion. This is issue of the law. So the question is, what is the law saying? What did the law say about this argument? And like I said, reading through the act, which I have just read part of that act, establishing Nafdac, and listed the materials that Nafdac should regulate. If you are selling handkerchief, or you are selling a cap, or you are selling t-shirts, or whatever, to your members or whoever is interested to buy them, Nafdac has no hand in controlling that, because that material is not listed among the things Nafdac can regulate. Even though you may claim that wearing the t-shirt or wearing the cap will cure you of one disease or the other, fine. As long as these things are not consumed, which means they are not food, they are not drug, they are not cosmetics, they are not medical devices, packaged water, chemical, and detergents. As long as they are not under any of these category of material, then Nafdac have no duty in that. So we have to look at this from an unbiased position. Okay? I will want you to, comment below. Let me know what you feel about what I have said. I'm not in support of any of the parties. I'm just, looking at the act establishing Nafdac and what Nafdac should do. Thank God that Nafdac is standing now on its authority, at least to close down the factory where these waters are packaged. That is a good step, but unfortunately, this came very late. That is why we are in this controversy now. Assuming Nafdac acted at the appropriate time, we won't be where we are. Okay? Somebody who was asking, is it a very dark man that we teach Nafdac their duties? Of course, anybody can teach them if they don't know their job, which is what we are seeing, that Nafdac does not know its duties. So, if not the noise made by very dark man about this situation, then Nafdac will continue to be sleeping on duty. Because that is what it means. Nafdac has been sleeping on duty. And like I said, that doesn't make it right. Because no matter how many times a wrong thing is done, that does not make that wrong thing right. Anything that is wrong, no matter how many times it happens. And ignorance is not an excuse. Because the question I ask is, does it mean that Nafdac does not have a legal department? Because this is the duty. If the chief executives of Nafdac and other directors or managers in Nafdac does not know what the act establishing them is saying, They should have a legal department which should be advising them on issues like this. Even the churches too, you know. But that will be a discussion of another day. You know, my next video, I will try to define the duties of the lawyers who are hired by these establishments or who are in the payroll of this establishment as legal advisors. You know, because that is equally a problem. Okay, but I don't want to delve into that now or today. That will be another day. Possibly tomorrow, we will look at the responsibilities of these lawyers to their clients, who, you know, the Nafdac as an agency, the churches as institution, and so on and so forth. What are the responsibilities of their lawyers to them? Because that is equally a problem. That is why we are where we are today. If these lawyers have done their job well, because this is a legal matter, you know, it is a legal matter which falls directly on the table of their lawyers to advise them, you know. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to, you know, flog this discussion unnecessarily. I will want you to watch this video, put down your comments, let's discuss it, and let's see what your position is. You know, which side of the divide do you belong, or do you think I'm making the right statement, or you think otherwise? Whatever is your opinion, let's just be gentle to one another. You know, that is just my plea. But look at things legally and logically, and let's come to a compromise. It is still an ongoing debate because the case has not been trashed in the courts. Like I'm meant to understand, the judge who the case was placed before his court was not able to look at the case because the lawyers to Jeremiah Omoto Fufoyin failed to appear, which is not equally good. So the case is back to the table of the Chief Judge of Nigeria, you know, who will reassign it to another court. So we are waiting to see where the case will be placed next time, and possibly when the hearing will be. So it's quite interesting anyway that we are discussing this today. Thank God for a very dark man, because a lot of people didn't see this coming, and like I said in my introduction, is the fault of Jeremiah Omoto Fufoyin, who first threatened him with a lawsuit of ₦1 billion damages for saying that his products are fake, that they are not working. If he has kept quiet and allowed the sleeping dog to lie, maybe we won't be where we are now. So thank you for watching. Like and share this video, and let the discussion continue. Talk to you tomorrow. Goodbye.